Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Deck Save the Taldorei Adventures. We've been gone for a little bit because of the whole COVID-19 thing,
Malware.
but human malware. But hopefully, we are back, and we are currently using Tabletop Simulator to, and that in Discord to kind of, keep everybody connected. I'm Andrew Lightwood, and I'm your DM. And around the table, we'll start with, the list goes Wayward Reaper to start. And then we'll just work our way down.
Hi. I am William Marlowe. I am playing Morzog, the Orc Fighter, I believe, right? God, it's been so long. I need to switch over to my D&D page. Hold on.
Harris. I'm playing Note, the Kinku Rogue. With me is Jonah.
We're sharing an account because our internet boomed for some reason, and I am Garm, the Dragonborn Paladin.
Colton.
I am Colton Coleman, and I am Arctis Noctis, the Ranger Monster Hunter.
And I'm Kayla Lightwood, and I play Ilvana the Macaronman, the water inside druid.
I like how everybody's so hesitant about what they are.
I couldn't remember what the fuck I was for a second, okay?
It's been a minute, alright? And I was on other pages. So our little level 4s are kind of fucked at the moment.
Well, as I'm sure everybody can tell, we are all using varying forms of headsets and microphones, so there will be a little bit of an echo, and there will be a little bit of, varying quality, so please bear with us as we try to enjoy our lovely game of D&D any way we can. When we last left off... our intrepid band of adventurers have made their way all the way down through the continent of Taldorei, taking on various tasks, escorting a gentleman to Emon to try to figure out the mystery behind these attacking automaton and where it is they came from.
Dead now. We failed.
And they are currently right about here, about halfway to Emon, and as they set up camp for the day, they were attacked by a mysterious spellcaster who launched a fireball into their base and killed their horses, their carriage, and their lead.
Pissed me off something.
In the midst of the combat between the mysterious wizard and our party of adventurers, a lone dragonborn paladin came in to kind of help clean up the mess and has since joined our adventuring group. And the last time we left off, they had remade camp and had settled down for the night to try to heal their wounds and figure out exactly what it is they're trying to do. So, as you are all crowded into your new hut, about maybe like 30 feet away from your original hut.
I'm rethinking this when we didn't move the hut more. Why didn't we move the hut more?
Nah, it'll be fine.
Okay.
I mean, we was just gonna make it in the crater, but we decided against that, so...
That is true. Okay. Well...
The sun has mostly gone down. The stars are starting to show in the night sky. Thankfully, because of the proximity of you all huddled up into the hut that you and Note had created, Morzog, you all remained fairly warm.
Me and Note's gonna go into a real estate business once this is all over.
Oh, you're already talking about redoing the infrastructure, so this will be interesting. Have to contact Matt Mercer and be like, so, we changed some things.
We had a couple of players start a real estate company and started building shit. Oh, what do you
Now there's
mean?
a road and
So this is what it looked like before, and this is what it looks like now.
Yeah, pretty much.
So as you guys lay down for the night, is anybody wanting to take watch, and is anybody wanting to discuss anything?
I will take watch.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and have you make a perception check.
Perception.
Mm-hmm.
That is 16.
Okay. You don't notice anything out of the ordinary anymore. Nothing different than the night sky and the cool breeze. And your watch goes by uneventful. And then who would like to take the next watch?
I'll take this watch.
Also, before we continue, who was it that currently has the crystals that you guys had taken from the?
Me.
Gotcha. Okay, just making sure.
They're my shiny click clacks.
I think I took one too. Yes, I definitely took one.
Yeah, you took one.
Okay.
New monsters.
No, go ahead and make a perception check as you switch watches.
Me? Okay.
I rolled a 4.
Plus your
Oh. Like,
Bonuses.
yeah. Here. I'm about to just switch back to my regular thing. 'Cause I have a sheet here, but I don't know where things are on the sheet. Sorry about that. 6%.
nice. That's right.
Oh.
Nice.
Plus 6, so 10.
Okay. You also don't notice anything. As you take your watch. And then who is going to take final watch?
I will.
Okay. So as you switch off, and Morzog, you prop yourself up against the entrance to the hut, looking out into the fields in which you guys have made your camp. Go ahead and make a perception check.
That's a 22.
Wow. Okay. You look around through the fields and you see movement among the grasses, small critters that are inhabitants of the local fauna fauna? Yeah, because fauna is animals. Fauna would be plants. Yeah, so I was right.
Flora.
Flora. Thank you. Thank you, Druid.
Okay.
So the fauna that live among the flora, and as you lean up against it, you can kind of feel you got woken up and you're still tired, so your eyes are kind of droopy, and you see a glowing coming from your bag that's on your side.
My click clacks glowing?
You don't know.
Well, I think that's the only thing I have that glows. Sure, we'll open up the bag and make sure it's the click-clacks that are glowing and not something else.
We open up the bag, and you do notice that the crystals are giving off a glow.
God, my Arcana sucks. Investigation?
Well, what are you doing?
I don't know. I want to. Are they hot? Are they cold? Are they?
Are you gonna touch them?
Well, fuck yeah, I'm gonna touch them. I'm a dumbass. I'm gonna touch them.
Is that intelligence score?
My intelligence is actually 12. It's my charisma that sucks. Thank you very much.
Well, as you reach down to pick up the crystal from your bag, as you touch it, what is that? Your eyes try to adjust to the different lighting, so the rest, you kind of get this like tunnel vision effect because your eyes are trying to readjust. And you look up from the now glowing crystal, and you're in darkness.
I can see in darkness. Thank you very much.
You're in blackness, I should say. And you go to like readjust your footing, and you notice that you're not on the floor. And as you try to adjust yourself again, you realize you're floating.
Hey, look, I can fly.
And as you look around, you notice that a lot of your surroundings look like that of the night sky. Stars off in the distance as you roam through the blackness. And you see something kind of off in the distance moving. Kind of humanoid shape-ish. And it's walking toward you.
Shaped-ish. Of course it's coming towards me. Well, obviously I can't do nothing considering I'm just kind of floating here, so I'll let it approach. Why not?
So as you keep your eyes on this humanoid figure, and as it gets close enough, you notice that it's you. You're staring at another you, another yourself.
Mega Morzog.
As it...
It's you, but better.
or
I'm the fucking best, excuse you?
Or you, but I was going to say,
There
or
ain't
you,
no
but
better.
worse, you don't know.
Yeah.
Bizarro Morzog.
So, as you float there, this other version of you walks up to you, and you reach out to touch it, and it just passes through you like a ghost.
Well, that's unsettling.
And as you turn around to figure out what it's doing, it's like splits. And now there are like 12 Morzogs, all walking in different directions. One of them's walking what you would consider to be parallel to the floor. And these other versions start like walking straight up, off in a diagonal direction, just floating off in space toward different ends of the ether. As you watch them, you see them kind of take different form. One of them is now in like a suit of plate armor, while the other wears dark leathers. And one is in finer clothes than another. And it seems to be different paths, different ways you could have taken. And as you are watching these diverge, they just kind of float off into the ether. And you kind of are turning around in this void to figure out what exactly is going on. And you see this tiny little ball of light. Just this tiny little, like, baseball-sized arc of white as it just floats to you. And you kind of reach out to touch, and it's like there's a ball around the ball, So you're just kind of like, your hands are like a few inches away from it, not actually touching it. And you hold it up, and the lights start to kind of fade as you're given an image of a dark dwelling somewhere. You're now in a cave. You're unsure where, but the floor is smoother than it should be, and it seems very walked on. The some parts of the cave have been smoothed out somehow to make room for whatever inhabitants live here. And as you walk through this darkened room, your dark vision kicking in. But as you walk through this darkened room, you follow this tugging that you have as you end up in the far end of the room, next to what would be like a stone table, basically, is what I can describe it as. This slab that's probably a foot thick of stone that's jutting out in a direct 90-degree angle, and sitting on this weird, like, how do I say it? Like a stand almost. It's like 6 little hooked prongs that are just holding this object up aloft about an inch off of the table. A hollow wire frame of an odd item that is, what is it? If you this odd dodecahedron like piece of like wire frame, this gray glow just sitting in the middle, giving off a faint just wom wom. And you reach out to touch it to see if you can interact with it, and your hand passes through it like maybe you're the ghost. And
which makes sense after, everything else that I've experienced so far.
And as you pull your hand back from the image, you feel yourself falling backwards. And you adjust your head to kind of look where it is you're going. And you see you're falling through stars. And you see these other possibilities of you that are just kind of walking off in their different directions as you get hit in the face with cloud, with moisture, and then another layer of moisture until you adjust your head to look up, and you're falling down, and your speed is increasing, and you can feel the wind, and you see the hut, and that split second before you hit ground, you get the image of yourself, you, Morzog, laying on the ground, asleep, clutching a piece of crystal in your hand, before wham! You, like a dream where you are falling, you jut up, bolt upright, breathing heavily from this falling sensation that you no longer have.
I hate those dreams.
Yeah, me too. And there you sit. Kind of sweaty a little bit from the falling feeling, I should say. everybody is still asleep. And you can feel the cold air of the early morning. And you look down at your hand, and that crystal... Well, first off, your hand hurts really bad. Because you noticed how hard you were actually holding on to it.
Doesn't, though. Doesn't.
But you look at the crystal, and it is no longer glowing. And you look into your bag at the other crystals that you are currently in possession of, and none of them are glowing.
Fell asleep on the job, huh?
You know, it was a long night. I needed a nap.
You know, that kind of defeats the purpose of a watch, right? You're not supposed to fall asleep while
Well,
you're
you
supposed to be a
know,
person
no
who's...
one's perfect, okay? There's been a
Easy way
lot
to
going
rip.
on. I got fireballed, mind controlled. I needed a break.
Maybe we should start taking watches in pairs, just in case.
I'm gonna say, I thought I had it. I thought I was awake enough for this. My apologies. Are y'all still alive? Thank you very much.
I feel like there was like a quick little 3 snaps there at the end of that.
Little bit. Little bit.
Z formation.
I mean, it's been a rough 24 hours, okay? Been losing people left and right. It's not been fun. Okay.
They lost, they left.
Alright, Morzog, don't get your weave in a twist.
Yeah, well.
Morzog, as you sit there and you're complaining back and forth with Elrana, you can feel this just odd kind of warmth. Just kind of like, if I had to explain it, it would be like in the back of your chest. If that makes sense.
Like going Super Saiyan?
You feel this odd warmth, and you aren't quite sure what to make of it.
Did you keep their gold? It happens.
But you are in possession of a mote of possibility.
Possibility.
Is that what the batteries are?
Well, where do we need to go here? Do we need to backtrack to whatever the hell that city was? I don't even remember where we were on the road.
So
Is Emon closer anymore, or is it...
so where you currently are, you're halfway in between Kaimal and Emon before you guys made
fucking
camp.
course we are.
When you guys come out of the...
Yay, I have the book so I can see the map.
When you guys come out
I
of
have the
the...
internet. I can look it up.
when you
My
guys...
Google beats your map.
When you guys come out of
I
the...
had to turn one page. Actually, the cover.
Anyway,
Sorry, Drew. Go on.
when you guys come out of the stone hut, as you look around, you guys are currently within the middle of a vast field. Off to the off to the west, you guys see that the road kind of climbs into what would be just like a really slow rolling hill. Off to the north, you can see the... Let me make sure I'm pronouncing that right. I'm pretty sure it's the Taurian Forest, but...
Sure, I believe you.
It is. Off to the north, you see the Taurian Forest, that is at the base of another mountain range. And then east is the road that took you back to Kaimal, or Western, or what have you. But you know that if you keep going farther west for about another, like, half a day, you'll make it to Emon.
Well, that probably ought to be our general direction. It's our only lead we have left. There's no point in backtracking.
Which, that's another note. After doing a little bit of research, I had figured out that the times that I had given you guys to get from one place to another were a little bit fucked. And
I think your version a little bit and everyone else's version a little bit's two different things.
that's fair.
How much is a little bit fucked?
What he thought was going to take a month actually would have only taken maximum of a week.
Like 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
2 weeks.
See, I think he's just stretching to make himself feel better now.
Regardless, it's.
Fiddle fucked around. Yeah, I mean,
I mean, you're going on the road. I mean, you know, the wagon could break down,
But it didn't.
and
It's
you had
one of
to.
those situations where, you know, I said it was 6, but really I meant 4.
Yeah, pretty much. Regardless, we will continue a little bit differently. So I'll figure out a way to retcon the fucking time missing, okay? So anyway.
I smell a one-shot in there somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we need to break camp and make for Emon. There's no point in backtracking, I don't think.
Well, side note, because you also see
Walker's a really bad day.
kind of off a little bit to the like northwest-ish, a ways off of the road. You do see what is a small collection of buildings, probably like a small village.
Do we have anyone sneaky enough to steal us horses?
I mean, that's kind of what notes for.
I was gonna say, I feel like you're insulting her.
roll.
Right, yeah. You can click the dice, yeah. Well, are we a half day out by like horseback or just by foot?
It'd probably be a half day by horseback, you'd estimate. So you'd probably make there like if the difference was like on horseback, you make it there by noon, then by foot you'd make it there by like 4 o'clock.
We can walk it. There's no what am I? Hold on. Am I asshole enough to steal the horses?
I think.
Sure am. I'll put it to a vote. The group decides. Do you just want to walk it, or shall we try to procure horses since ours just got like incinerated?
I'm okay either way. I personally I will enjoy trying to test out what I can do if I can roll. Walk too. Just remember, short people walk more steps per month.
Yeah.
Your walking speed's still 30 though, right?
Yeah. Actually, she may be faster.
Okay.
Well, like I said, I'll put it up to the group. They can decide it. My alignment kind of leads me to say steal the horses, but
I'm chaotic neutral, so no fucks given here.
Same here.
well, we're doing fucking great.
Wait.
I've been walking all over the place, and I don't see why I would stop that now.
Yeah, I'm saying let's go into town and let's procure some horses.
Some horses.
I'm not opposed to procuring horses. I'm opposed to stealing them.
Well, I mean,
Well, me and you will sit here, have a talk, and the other ones will go
there's
procure
this
horses for us.
classic method where we play distract the paladin and then we go and do this thing.
Hey, it'll work. I'm dumb.
Yeah, well, me and you can have a talk. We can be Bash Brothers.
I mean, if it's a small town, they probably don't have that many horses to begin with, though.
Yeah, it's a small town. There should be farms around. They don't have to be great horses.
No, I'm saying we'd be taking their only fucking horses.
I mean, we could just walk. It's not that big of a deal.
All right, let's walk. Since we can't seem to come up with a resounding one way or another.
Okay.
Note, I apologize. I'll let you steal some food.
I mean,
Bandits,
bigger city,
and they
I
got
don't care.
horses, that we save the horses and we kill the bandits.
Well, of course. There
Naturally.
shall be no further harm to animals on my watch. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I may go in a rage and become murder hobo.
If there's any fans out there, write to PETA, blame the DM.
My
Let it
horse?
be known.
I had that horse for months. in what should have been a 2-week journey.
No shit.
I was attached, and you murked my horses. There will be
Alas, the horse
consequences
got
for this.
fireballed.
All right, on the road to town. We got what we got. It shouldn't be hard to break camp and go. So.
Alrighty. Give me just 1 second. Flip into my notes.
I go ahead and leave a note inside of the place that says to send a raven with money if they stay in this tent to Emon,
Okay.
to the care of us.
We're just gonna start charging.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Hey, man.
I mean, if
The Hiltons had to start somewhere.
The right magic.
Alright. So, as you are... let's see if I can navigate this desk without knocking shit over. Okay. So, as you are all taking your trip, can I go ahead and get a marching order real quick?
I'll take the front like usual, even though I don't have my horse.
Sure.
Can I go
I'm gonna
middle?
beat this like a dead horse, but
I'm gonna be right behind Morzog, kind of like off to the side, but right behind him.
I was gonna say I have my character somewhere if you want to use it. Oh yeah, that's right. Hold on. There he is.
You put him in the cannon.
There's my buddy.
Note Ilrana Garm, where you at?
I'm in the back. Beef in the front, beef in the back.
Sure.
Yeah. Bree, you got any more of those stands? I didn't. For some reason, I didn't save it when I put him on the last time. So.
You just need one.
Yeah, I
So
just
I'm
need one
very
second. But
perceptive, and I have a bow, so
thank you.
great for
Yeah.
scouting.
Go ahead.
You'll
Plop it
wanna-
down. I'll mess with it. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, you want to make him big first and all that jazz.
I want to get him to the right size here. Ooh, I don't like where that put that though.
Or sandwiching note in the middle.
Of course. She protect the smalls.
That way if anybody comes up, they can't see her.
Yeah. There you go.
This would be idle chatter on the way through things. Is there a way for me to become a smaller character?
Technically?
Yeah, technically yes, but
Honestly,
Right now, that's my goal.
honestly,
Alright, now you can
there's
move me wherever you need me. I got
honestly
it all
there's multiple ways for you to.
right. Oh yeah, there's.
The waters of the Wabajack.
Oh god, the lava jack. Okay. Aren't we?
In one
yeah.
campaign, I played Pixie.
Yeah, I remember that. You also played a
was
baby.
awesome.
You also played a baby dragon.
Sure.
All right.
But Pixie was fun. I was
Making
a
our
good
way
all
to
the time.
town. Walking
So
being pissed as all fuck. Do 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 do.
I'm gonna do some things here and just get rid of these. Is that all of them? Yeah, that's all of them. All right. So as you guys take the.
If you put anything on there, can you draw it? Because for at least for me, it's still a white screen.
It's all white for us. He's doing it for the recording kind of thing for himself. It'll be all right. Picture it in your mind.
I'm trying my best here.
It
So.
is if we have an encounter.
have an
Oh
encounter, we gotta
yeah,
shoot.
I have battle maps for that. You're good.
Well, you might. We may not.
Are they? So there is a way to put a grid across the map when that time comes. So that's a good there.
Yeah.
Or do
I
you
said
want-
image failed.
Yeah, it's going to. I actually put up the wrong image, but that's fine. There.
Yeah. Good. No. Whoa. Wow. Wow. Just.
I'm sorry.
marked
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It still said image failed for me.
I
Yeah,
know.
It's still all white for the rest of us, but
I'll
all the dice.
I will figure that out for next session. I promise. Anyway.
Missing? Oh, yeah. You
Anyway.
got a mini for Colton?
I didn't see one. So I just kind of arranged you and left a blank spot for him.
I saved it. I'm just gonna be hoarding everything. Copies of everything.
Ain't bad, you know.
There we are. Sorry. I don't have a desk like you guys. I had a painting table that had my computer on it, and I had to move everything due to installing the air conditioner.
Mm.
So I now have dual screens, though. So that's nice.
There you go.
Progress.
Yep. I'm going to invest in a table at some point in time. You know, whenever I get back to fucking work.
Alright, so as you guys take the half day's journey, well, a little more than half day now because you're on foot, but you take the road, okay. That's what I wanted to know. Gotcha. Okay. So, as you guys travel, the little more than half day's journey to Emon, can I have... yeah, I'll go ahead and have everybody make a perception check, just to kind of keep an eye out to make sure that nothing is... stinking up on you.
That's a 9. Doing great.
I don't want to talk about it either.
I got 11 altogether.
So 9, 11...
I don't want to talk about it.
I'm doing math not so well.
17.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay,
sneak
somebody
up.
did good.
12.
It's not terrible. So as you travel down the road, the weather is favorable. It started to cool off as you started, or not cool off. It started to kind of warm up as the sun has now reached its full peak. The wind is still kind of, a little breezy, as you are pretty much in just open grassland. You see a few small critters jump out of the grass before seeing you panicking and then running back into the grass. And as you start feeling as you make the incline kind of over this hill, you reach the peak of it to finally see what it is that you had been working toward. It is the cultural heart of civilization on this continent. It is the Republic's capital, the nexus of politics, justice, business, industry, education. Emon, the city of fellowship, the largest city in Taldorei, actually. The entire city is surrounded by giant 60-foot high walls that stretch from the eastern fields to the western shore. It is accessible only through its gigantic, heavily patrolled gates, or by skyship, as you guys see a very tall tower somewhere in the middle of the city, which a couple of you would know to be the Skyport.
Look, Morzog, L.A. We finally made it.
Yeah, pretty much.
you guys can see off to the northern part of the city is a large section that is actually outside of the city walls that kind of looks a little excuse me. It looks a little more not as well put together in comparison to what you can only imagine lurks behind the ginormous walls that you are currently faced with. As you start to approach, you can notice that the tops of the walls as well as the fronts of the gates are teeming with guards. Some of them in a different color scheme than the others. Some of them walk around in kind of like an olive drab green kind of tabard, while others are in a just basic like half plate mail armor. And as you approach, you also notice there's actually quite a few people. Like the gates, are kind of packed with people as they are. Some are leaving, some are coming in, and with the amount of people that are coming through, the guards don't have time to stop everyone. So you are mingled into the crowd and are basically able to just kind of walk in.
Well, that's hilarious because I'm a giant. I mean, I can understand the small, but
You're not a giant.
not quite. But I'm almost a giant.
Well, Morzog, as you kind of look around this crowd, you actually see some people that kind of rival your own gigantic height. Multiple Goliaths that are in the native people to some of the northern wastes. You've seen a few Goliaths in your own Jorhas that kind of wander, that pass you by every now and again. You see a few half-orcs that, though smaller in stature to yourself, they are also noticeably, large.
Well, it's nice to be somewhere where, I ain't picked out for my height like I was when, I came to the little science fair.
And as you guys look through the crowd, you there is no one particular I mean, humans mostly inhabit you see a lot of them, but for every group of humans, you also see a group of just a mixing pot of different kinds of races, from dwarves to half-elves to elves, Goliaths, just kind of everywhere. And as you make it through the main gates, you are Arctis and Ilrana. Yeah, those two particularly. You two feel small. This is a large crowd, and whereas Arctis, you remember how bad it was whenever you were in Vasselheim and how populated that was, and you've been away from that for a while, and even then you only made it into the city in smatterings, and now you feel small. This is a large crowd. There are a lot of buildings. Some of them tower multiple stories high. You can see main streetways that are large enough to fit this giant crowd, but there are also plenty of buildings that are shoved together, that some of them don't even have a lot of space to fit between. Some of them are crammed literally wall to wall on each other. And as you get into the city, you are approached. Through the crowd, a young half-elven gentleman in a kind of like leather jacket with a simple tunic underneath and breeches, boots that kind of go up the shin. Just kind of saunters up to you through the crowd, and as he makes his way to you, he kind of, so you guys don't look like you have any idea what you're doing.
I have 7 charisma. Do not let me be the one to answer this. Someone else fucking talk. Otherwise, this will go poorly.
It's the paladin that should be talking.
Go on. Roleplay. Do your thing. Don't let me do this.
Nope, just stumbled on in.
Say I can tell by the look on your faces. If you guys would like, for a little bit of coin, I could, show you around a little bit.
How much coin?
How about, like, 5 silver?
Remember how much money we have.
And what exactly does your looking around get?
I mean, just, a little bit of a tour.
I mean, I'm pretty tall. I have a good looking around view.
For an extra 2 silver, I'll give you a map. Just of the city, of course.
What's your name?
What'd you say?
What's your name?
My name is Lance. I'm a Emon native. Been here all my life.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Did you mute yourself again?
No, it just keeps shutting off. I don't know. But
Weird.
yeah, no, I've been trying to talk several times. I thought you were just talking over me.
Oh no, we didn't hear you at all. Go ahead.
Oh man, I was getting ready to start yelling.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I missed where we're at now because I was trying to fix with that. So recap.
So,
His name's Lance. He's a native.
yeah,
He wants to guide us.
He wants to give us a tour.
give you a tour
Maybe
or...
a map.
Insight check. Insight check.
Oh, sure. Go. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
What's my insight? Can I?
Ah, shit.
Yeah, sure.
That's an
Insight check.
12.
It's worth it.
Okay. He seems forthright. Seems like he's just trying to make a little bit of
I
coin.
think we can trust him.
Question. How does thieves can't work? I know it's like a language thieves speak to each other and all that. How do I...
It's just if you want to speak in thieves' cant, just basically say that you're speaking in thieves' cant, and if anybody can understand you, then they will talk back.
Yeah, but doesn't it take like 4 times as long to say something that would just normally say?
Yeah, it does. Because the way that thieves' cants work is you're using a lot of code words and different phrases that are not ordinary.
It's like Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Tango, Foxtrot.
Yeah. Morse code version of.
Well, I would guess that it'd be something the dog howls at the blue moon means whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is.
Twilight bark. What?
So to him, can I just say
I
pretty?
mean,
I don't.
whatever kink you're into, man.
And thieves can't. Can I say you won't? You don't rip us off. I won't rip you off.
Okay. You say that in Thieves Can't, and he kind of looks at you and is like, "You're so adorable. I have no idea what she's saying. Does she speak like this all the time?"
Pretty much.
Yep.
Interesting. Well, anyway, as I was saying, my name is Lance, and for a little bit of coin, I'd be more than happy to, get to know you guys and maybe give you a little tour. I'll introduce you to the greatest inns, the best places to shop.
Is someone gonna pay this man? So he shuts up.
I hand over 5 cents.
Okay.
I'll toss in the 2 for the map.
Oh, sure. Okay, so he takes
Maps.
the 5 silver from Elrana and takes the 2 from Morzog, and he reaches into a little satchel that he had off to his side and pulls out a rolled up piece of parchment and hands it over to you.
It's not in crayon, is it?
You open it up and it is not in crayon. And it shows the shape of the Emon walls and how they encompass the city. It shows the slums, which is what you guys had seen to the northern part of the city outside the walls. There is also a smaller portion at the south that is what's just deemed the lower slums. And off to the west of the upper slums, there is an entire thing that is the shoreline farms. And then the inside of the walls is also divided by more walls. Where you guys sit, you're currently in what is called the military district, which is right, it's the first main road that you end up in. And so he, kind of fans his hand around, kind of gesturing to the surroundings around you. We are currently in the military district, where most of the city guard and the arms of Emon currently like to train and are set up. They, half live here. And then off over here, and he kind of starts gesturing for you guys to follow him as he leads you down a little side street. And you go past basically an archway that goes through one of the dividing walls of the city that leads you into Abadar's Promenade. This is Abadar's Promenade. This is where we do most of our marketing. This is the market hub of the city. You can find literally anything you want here. If it's not here, then it doesn't exist. That, or it's some pre-calamity legendary nonsense that I've never heard of. But you can find some of the best inns.
See? Twilight bark.
Where would one might be able to acquire books of the more the not quite romantic, but of the general romantic-ish. I just kind of keep mumbling and
Doing great.
Do you want romance?
Romance novels.
not exactly romance, but
Do you like smut books?
you know, the one with more pictures than words.
Oh,
Oh.
Red light district.
No, not quite. Thinking more book form.
Oh, I'm sure you can get those there too.
Well, if you're looking for bookstores, they would be right here somewhere in Abadar's Promenade. Me, I don't really read a lot, so I wouldn't really.
can you read it all?
I could read.
I was gonna say you're doing a great tour guide, Mister. Oh, I'll show you the best of everything. I don't know where
Well-
that's at, dude. Thanks for the money, though.
Lance is a half elf.
I don't give a shit what Lance is.
How is a half elf not able to read?
Okay, I do read. I just don't read for fun. Look, if you're looking for a bookstore, there's a place called the Ever Turning Pages that is and he kind of does basically some math in his head. And he goes, if you go let's see, if you go 3 blocks down to the main square of the Abadar's Promenade, and then go half a block up, it's the third building on your left.
All right, well, thank you. And I head off to there to meekly ask for porn magazines.
I'm guessing you would not want someone to follow you to the bookstore.
I mean, I personally wouldn't care, but I guess Arctis would probably know. He'd be kind of shy about it, but he would go to the bookstore and like peruse around.
Buddy system.
Oh shit! Yeah, the buddy system.
We buddy
Who's going
system.
with
We've
me?
talked about this.
I can go with you. Who knows? Maybe I'll find some books I want to read.
So he, gives you those directions, and as soon as he turns back around, 2 of you just kind of like saunter off and start working your way through and he's like, Ed.
Before we go, where are we meeting? Because we can ask for directions.
I say we
Where
kind of
would you
need an
recommend
inn.
that- Yeah.
Well, there are a couple options. There is the Laughing Lamia, which is right here in the Abadar's Promenade. It's one of the more popular ones, but there are a couple others. One of them that's kind of like the Laughing Lamia's competitor is another one that's kind of on the little more southern part of the Abadar's Promenade called the Dragon's Rest.
You know, I'm just gonna call this place the Laughing Llama, right?
Yep.
I was thinking llama sounds good to me.
Oh no.
I'm going with the laughing llama. That's fine. We can go there.
I meant as a name instead of Lamia. What the fuck?
Oh,
The
It's
fuck's
a-
Lamia.
It's
Why is it laughing?
it's a snake thing. It's like a snake person.
Oh, I'm more comfortable with llamas. That's what I'm gonna do in my head.
Sure. All right. Well, the
I'm imagining snake llamas that like spit venomous people. That's kind of scary.
Gorgon llamas.
Oh god, that's even worse. They turn you to stone.
so as you guys are
Spit.
as you guys make your way through the crowd of the streets, he eventually leads you what is basically the central square to Abadar's Promenade, and he points kind of off in one of the like corner establishments, and you see a large 4-story building that is kind of taking up most of that corner space there, and you can see through some of the windows, even from this distance off, that it is packed full of people. And he's like, right over there, that is the Laughing Lamia. The Dragon's Rest is trying to be as good or better than them for years, and just never worked out.
So I
Noted.
guess we're gonna go in and try to find some room, since
Are we gonna finish this tour? Hey, just guys,
well, you
five
you
silver.
you you can finish the tour. I'm tired. I've walked all day. It's like 5 in the afternoon. I'm a
Well,
big
we
guy. It
paid
takes
for
a
the
lot
tour.
of energy to move around. Well, you were leaving to go look at Smup, so I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
weren't really worried about the tour, 60 seconds ago.
Can I,
That's
if
true.
you'd like, I can pay you back for the tour. If you're worried about the.
Oh, I didn't
I
pay
don't
you
care
nothing
about.
for the tour.
I mean, I just wanted the map extra, but
I can always make copies of the map if need be. Actually, if we're splitting off, can I use my
I thought I
Okay.
was going to the porn store. I mean, I want to hear the
Yeah.
story of this.
So
I'm
yeah,
finishing the
before
tour.
we go-
So at least one of us can know where the fuck we're going.
As at the very
Well-
least, before we walk off, does somebody want to ask him where the docks are?
I'm sure we could walk until we hit water and figure it out.
Yeah, that's a lot of walking.
Maybe. Well, ask then.
Like I said, I'm finished the tour.
She needs a buddy.
Yeah, I'll stay on the tour.
I'll get the rooms.
Yo, can I make a copy of your map?
Sure. I mean, I don't know how long it takes you to make a copy, but you know what? Go ahead.
I can make just a general copy. It doesn't have to be like exact, but
Rough outline.
yeah.
These are roads kind of thing.
It's because if you have a main road, then
Yeah.
you just have to get back on it.
Well,
Should I roll for making a copy?
Forgery, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I've got an advantage from copying or forging objects.
yeah, because you're Kinku.
Well, it
It's
really
rogue.
wouldn't be forging. It'd be for copy, but I don't know.
So it's
I guess it's
rogue.
either.
Go ahead and make a roll a d20, add your
Rolls have been, but
I'll say add
Agency and intelligence.
yeah, I'll say add intelligence.
roll 12.
Who fired my cannon?
I did. Did. Okay, my intelligence.
You have advantage.
Fire second volley. I love that.
So 12 plus my intelligence is plus 3. So
15.
Okay. You make a you borrow Morzog's map that he had purchased, and you make a basically a general map recreation of it. You do include the basically what would be like the main roads that lead through to be able to help you navigate. And I'll send you that here later on.
I can pull it up on my phone if need be.
That works.
How many rooms do we need before everyone runs off?
I'm okay sharing.
Do we each want one, or are you all gonna share and pretend we're friends, or?
I don't care.
I'm okay sharing.
I figured we do 3.
If I want some sex, I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, see, there you go. I'll do 3. That way everyone has a little bit of room.
Yeah, what? There's 5 of us, so 3 rooms.
And the biggest person will get there.
The dude with his fucking smut mags gets his own room.
Yeah.
So we ain't doing none of that. I'm trying to sleep, motherfucker. I'll throw you.
All right, so Morzog is going off.
I didn't plan to shake the bump, so.
Yeah.
But
God, I hope not.
I appreciate having my own room, and I I may keep this going as a thing through the campaign, not just for that fact.
Well, you keep it going, you're gonna be paying for your own rooms.
That's fine. I mean, I've got money. I can pay for my room.
But
So
yes,
Morzok heads into the crowd that is the Laughing Lamia. And Note and Arctis want to break off to go find the ever-turning pages, while Garm and Ilrana are staying with Lance to go through the tour.
it's okay. We just committed a capital sin. It's fine.
Split the party.
Party.
Yep.
Okay, so point of order here. Note and Arctis have been given directions on how to get there. So you're going to be at the bottom of the list because you have to walk. Morzog, you're going into a building that's literally right in front of you, so I'm going to touch on you first, and then I'll get to the two that are on the tour for a minute, and I'll have to switch back and forth between the two other groups.
Awesome.
So, Morzog, you go into the Laughing Lamia, and it is packed. It's a 4-story tall building. It's the biggest inn in this district. And you walk in, and people have to part because you are large. So you walk in, and a couple of people have to stop and be like, "Holy shit!" You saunter through the din and the noise of clanking cups and stories, loud laughing, songs, before you make it up to the basically the bartender that is behind, and you see a human woman with kind of auburn hair that's been pulled off to over one shoulder and braided. That braid is slowly coming apart, as she is trying to keep up with the 1,000,001 orders that are being thrown her way. She is refilling cups and sliding them down the bar as fast as she humanly can. And she finishes filling up 3 tankards, slides them along the bar to a group that's sitting down at the corner before she stops, sees you as you approach, and just stops and goes, "What can I get you, darling?"
I need 3 rooms for the night.
Oh. And so she reaches underneath
She has a dog underneath her?
Holy shit.
Anyway, she reaches underneath of the bar and pulls out this big kind of leather-bound book with pages that are just kind of shoved in there. Starts flipping through, and she looks through one of them, and she goes, "Yeah, I've got 3. How long you staying?"
Couple nights to start out with, and we'll go from there. So give me 3 nights to start out with.
3 nights, 3 rooms. Alrighty. Let me just, and she starts doing some math in her head. That'll be 5 silver a room.
Okay.
5 silver a room for 3 nights. 15 times 3, 45 silver, which I have to do more conversion to make that into gold.
It's 4 gold, 5 silver.
Sure.
But yeah, we'll do that. 4 gold, 5 silver.
Alright, you set down the gold and silver on the table, and she swipes.
Come with fucking food.
Yeah, well.
She
It's okay, I got
swipes
the
it up and puts it into a pouch in her apron and
No, Nikita.
she takes a quill real quick and dips it in ink, writes down some name, basically writes down she didn't, yeah.
Didn't ask.
She asks what your name is.
Yes. Okay. Let her know know that it's Morzog. We haven't made a party name, guys, or shit.
So she puts down Morzog 3 times.
Works.
And then closes the book and... Need anything to drink?
No, not currently. I think I'm just gonna go relax in the room for the time being. I got a lot on my mind.
Alright, well, she reaches underneath of the bar again, and you see her pull out basically just like a handful of keys that are not on a key ring. And she's like flipping through them. They all have these little like tags attached to them, and is like, let's see, this one, and this one, and just hands you 3 keys.
Okay. If you see the rest of my motley crew of 4 people, it's a Kingu, a dragonborn, whatever the fuck the druid is. A druid. You'll notice the druid. He smells like a druid.
Hey, fuck you.
And a ranger. You don't hear this.
And druids, I've seen one, I've seen them all.
Just
Boy.
send them up to my room.
Can do.
There should be 4. Hopefully they don't find more people.
Can do.
Alright, up to the room I go. It's nap time.
So, as Morzog heads up to his room to take a quick nap and saunter and think over the events that have transpired, back to the group that is currently standing out in the middle of the square. Lance kind of looks at the two, at Garm and Ilrana, and goes, "Well, I guess it's just us, yeah?"
Well, I think so there, eh? Oh, sorry. Go on.
Well, so, as I was saying, before we were so kind of rudely disbanded, here in the Avidar's Promenade, one of the biggest attractions that you can find, other than the Laughing Lamia, is the ever-prestigious blacksmith that is right down the road this way, and he kind of just points off in a direction, called the Anvil Gate. And also, let's see, how do we get there again? Ah, yes. And then down this way, kind of down this street off to the corner, and you see this building that is... you see this one-story building that's kind of down the road, off to the right a little ways of the square, that is that has a winding kind of front porch on the side, on the front side, with multiple like ribbons and banisters that hang from the roof and the windows, and a large banner on the kind of on the front wall of it of the head of a unicorn. And there's purple and gold tapestries just everywhere. And he's like, over here is the shop known as Gilmore's. If you need anything, if you got money in your pocket and you need magical goods, he's the man to go to. Or so I've heard. And then, following this road down here, and you guys start walking into the crowd again, and you end up passing through another archway into another sector of Emon. This here is the Erudite Quarter. This is the center of higher education, and you'll find no better colleges or schools here anywhere except maybe Western. But here we have many schools that all try to strive for, kind of being the best, but nothing is better than the Alabaster Lyceum itself. Newly rebuilt over the last few years, as we kind of got attacked by a dragon, but it's up and running again, and it's as beautiful as it's ever been. You guys end up walking through a whole crowd of different. Now you're seeing a lot of the since this is the basically the schooling district. You're walking through uniformed students that are, you know, trying to either get to class or, you know, go to, you know, wherever it is that their day takes them. You make your way through all sorts of different ages and races, and you're seeing that whereas you see a lot of humans, you're also seeing that this place is, no matter where you go in Emon, this place is definitely made up of all types. He navigates you through this this large crowd as you see a very large, well, as per its name, alabaster building that almost spans the entire block. With it honestly, it kind of looks like a miniature Hogwarts if you had to place it. That you can only assume, as he points out, that this is the Alabaster Lyceum itself. It's expensive to get into. It's expensive to get through. But there's no higher education. Moving on, he brings you through. You're now making your way west through the city as you enter what he referred to as the Central District. And this is the largest district in the entire city, mostly made up of people's homes. If you're wandering through here at night, I would be super careful, as this is usually the center place for thievery and mugging and all kinds of undue peril to the wanderer. You can see over there, and he points way over where another wall is kind of, it's kind of like the middle-ish of the city that has a, like on the northern part of the wall is a very large tower. Well, if you look past this wall, which we won't be able to get in there because, you know, hoity-toity, but through this wall is the Cloudtop District. That's where all of the rich and the famous live, and where the council meetings happen. But the large tower over there is the Skyport. And there's currently no skyship in there yet, but that's where it is. Connected to the wall of the Cloudtops District is this humongous tower that just spirals what would be like damn near 100 feet high. Usually the skyships would dock onto that to, you know, offload cargo or, you know, release passengers, but not a lot of passengers on skyships. It's mostly cargo. It's really expensive to actually get a ride in one of those. And then if you head down this main road here that we are currently on, you will hit the port. Next to that, a little farther down, you can't really tell where it breaks, but that's the cemetery district. And then he turns you off another block, which in the central district there's not as much people that are wandering around, as this is mostly just where people's homes are, so everybody's either off doing business or what have you. And then the final one is right down there where that segmented wall is, and that is the temple district, where you will find a temple to literally every god in the pantheon.
Every god?
Every god.
Even the gods that we're
You're not there.
Damn.
That's right. I'm waiting in line to buy nudie magazines.
But with that, that will conclude our tour. It has been lovely meeting you all. All two of you that decided to stay. And I hope you enjoy your stay in our lovely city. And he kind of bows to Garm and Elrana.
Okay. Thanks for the show.
Before you bow out, Mr. Tour Guide, what's the fastest way to the port, and are we allowed there?
Well, the main road we're on, you just have to follow down there, and you'll pass through the main gate to the port. And, I mean, is there a reason you wouldn't be allowed?
So you can just so you just want to walk up and enjoy the nice ocean breeze.
Sure.
Alright, good. Never been here before, don't want to walk somewhere and get arrested for some dumb shit.
I mean, the rules are as most places follow. Don't kill anyone. Don't steal anything. Don't be an idiot, and nobody will really bother you.
We just fuck all three of those boxes, don't we?
Well, good luck. And if you need me again, I usually hang out by the main gate trying to find someone else to give a tour guide to. Or give a tour to.
Have a nice day,
So he
Mr. Tour Guide.
bows to you both and just kind of starts walking down a side street whistling to himself.
So you want to just head back to the inn?
Yeah, sounds good to me. I'm beat.
Okay. So you guys start navigating the main roads back to Abadar's Promenade to go back to the Laughing Lamia. Meanwhile, in the side streets of the Abadar's Promenade, Note and Arctis have navigated their way to a single-story building that is this kind of dark oak wood that has a sign in front that is the picture of an open book that says "The Ever-Turning Pages."
Alright. So, I already know you're looking in here for something specific, but is there anything you want me to watch out for?
Did you mute yourself again, Arctis?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Wasn't paying attention. I got spaced out and stuck in my, yeah. No, I start looking around and just kind of browsing at some of the different selections of books that I can see on the walls and stuff.
Well, as you guys navigate your way inside, there's really not a lot of people in here. You look through some of the shelves and find that they are all kind of separated between their different topics. You have a section for like novels and information books. Behind the, hang on a second, look through my notes real quick. Right. Behind the counter, you see, like down at the far end of the store, you do see a middle-aged woman that has red hair with a big, long, gray streak that just kind of is starting to overtake her hair.
Okay. I go down there and I kind of just approach her and I say hello. Kind of trying to inquire and see what all kinds of books and stuff that you have here.
She replies with, "Oh, well, are you looking for anything in particular?"
Yeah, kind of some romance novels with, lots and lots of pictures.
What, oh. Um, actually, follow me. And she leads you down she leads you down one of the aisles. This is our mostly romance section, and she kind of is like, runs her finger through a couple of the spines and is looking for a specific. She goes, here we go, and you're given a book that is in kind of like a light brown leather binding. There's no like picture or title on it. But as you open it up, you start seeing what is what can only be described as an instruction manual, complete with pictures.
Okay, so it's essentially the Kama Sutra, but
Yeah.
okay, wow. Yeah, this wasn't quite what I was looking for, but really close. Thank you. You know what? I'll go ahead and I'll just hold on to it. You never know. It might be an interesting read.
She's giving you a smile as you stammer through your words, seeing how kind of embarrassed you are about the whole situation. Well, I'll be up at the counter whenever you're ready to check out.
Okay, and then I kind of go and look around at other books so I don't look like, a total creep. Plus, I kind of want to see if there's any other books.
There is every kind. There in this shop, there is every kind of topic, I guess you could say. Like there are romance novels, fiction, nonfiction, history. The information books talk about everything from planting a garden to fixing wagon wheels or building a house out of brick.
Somebody blows up your horse.
Nothing on that. Nope.
Any books on
I think I know what to do to somebody like that.
What was that? Nope.
In that case, would there be any books on necromancy?
On how to bring back my horse.
No necromancy.
I mean,
no necromancy books.
I would go ahead and I'd like to get some, see what I can find on like the history of Emon.
Okay. There is a as far as history, there's
like important places, important people.
There is a history of Taldorei, and like how the rule of Lord Drassig and how terribly that went, and how some of the more major cities had come to be established. There's history on basically the world itself, the Calamity legend, that some people do and some people don't know about. Gives some details on that, on how the gods walked the earth and the divergence, and there is some on a little on Wildmount. But yeah, if you're looking for a history on Emon itself, it kind of falls into that the book of how the main establishments have been, or the main cities have been established.
Good to know.
No, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for. While he's off in Smutland with the librarian or bookstore seller, whatever she would be called, I'm going to wander in the opposite direction. And or books on religion.
Easy enough. In that same section of informational books, you find a leather-bound tome of what is basically the. It still touches on a little bit of the calamity, the divergence, how the Age of Arcanum came to be, but it also talks a lot about the pantheon of gods and kind of who they were, what they were associated with.
So I'm gonna grab that one. And are there any? Is there like a cheap paperback? I guess it would be the cheap paperback section, but in these times.
Are you looking? You're looking for a paperback section, or are you looking for something in the paperback section?
I'm more looking for if there's a more clearance section.
Where's the clearance aisle? Discounted books.
Bargain shopping there, DM.
20% off books. That's what I need right now.
Oh my god.
Discount.
You don't necessarily find a clearance aisle, per se.
Can I go? Well, I would like to steal the
Where's your
religious
cheap
book.
books?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask that, but I'd like to try and steal the religion book first.
What did you ask?
Oh,
Me?
Wild thing.
Yeah. She wants to steal the book. What did you ask?
Where's the cheap books?
Oh, yeah, there was no discount section. No, I need you to make a sleight of hand check.
Dice thing. I'm gonna try. I rolled a 12. Sleight of hand is 7, so I rolled a 19.
A 19.
Rolled a 12 plus 7. 19, right?
Okay. All right. So you grab the book. You grab the book from the shelf. You flip through the pages a little bit, and as you're flipping through, you kind of glance side to side, and you see that the store owner's behind the desk. That just kind of. She looks like she's pulled out a stack of new books and is currently like sorting through them to figure out where they need to go. And you see her in the midst of her work, and you slip the book into your cloak, and it just disappears like that. And she is none the wiser.
All right. Could you tell me, is there a title of the book that I can add to my inventory? Pantheons of whatever.
Just title it the Pantheon book.
And then I'd like to ask the librarian lady. I'm gonna go up to the desk and ask her if she has any like Elvish to other language or this to that dictionary.
Are you trying to learn a new language?
Andy?
Um.
I mean, I know a couple already.
Okay. You inquire about a basically an Elvish language book. Um,
Elvish for dummies.
yeah.
Elvish, Dwarven, Aran, Common, and Deviant. So
You already speak Elvish?
I could Elvish and Dwarven.
She was giving an example, not saying she wanted an Elvish dictionary.
Oh. Um. Okay, so you go up to the cashier and she goes, a book on languages. Um. And she leads you down through a couple of the aisles and just what one exactly are you looking for?
Do we have anything like Infernal?
Say I don't. I've got let's see. I've got Dwarvish. There's Dwarvish. I've got Orcish. And I got one on Celestial.
How much would the Orcish and Celestial one be together?
Together, I'd price probably about 9 silver. For the both of them together, 9 silver.
That's fine. I'll get them.
Okay.
I have silver.
What about books on like the wilderness and different monsters that I may encounter in this particular region of the world?
I don't have any books on monsters. That would probably be something a little more for the Cobalt Soul or the Lyceum. If you were to look through maybe some of their libraries.
Is there one near here?
Well, the Cobalt Reserve's back in Western, but the Alabaster Lyceum is just over in the Erudite Quarter that is connected to this one.
Okay. Good to know.
It's kind of hard getting into the Lyceum's libraries, though. They're very particular. But I wish you the best of luck.
I think I'll be able to get in.
Well, are you wanting to purchase those books?
Yes, these, and do you have anything on the wilderness around here at all, or?
Not around here. I have a couple of basically survival guides.
Okay, I go ahead and I check through them and see if they're worth looking at, even purchasing.
You flip through the pages, and it's a lot of stuff you already know from that you just kind of learned on your own.
Okay, so
Nothing extraordinary that you would just be like, oh yeah, this would totally help me. Yeah, it's all stuff you already know pretty much.
Alright. Then yeah, I just buy the books that I got.
Well, it'll be 6 silver for both of those.
Okay. Can do. I hand her six silver pieces.
Alright.
And a gold piece for being so helpful.
Damn.
She takes it and she goes, "Thank you very much. You two have a nice day.
Yep, you have a great day too."
Hope you find what you're looking for."
A different bookstore that carries nudie magazines.
On my way back to the inn, I would like to go buy the books.
Oh, you're also going to the bookstore?
Yep.
Okay.
2 seconds.
Sure. So you follow the directions that you were given and end up seeing Note and Arctis that are just walking out the door.
Seriously, they spent that long in the bookstore?
Yeah, they spent quite a bit in the bookstore.
What happens? When does one not spend a lot of time in a bookstore?
Oh no, I could spend eternity in a bookstore for like. I didn't think it had been that long to be where we could see the
I
whole
asked
city.
if there was an actual adult store.
You're
If
at.
there's such a thing. To the librarian.
Oh. Um. Not one that I'm aware of. I mean, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just that I don't know where it is.
Things DM now has to plan for later on.
Yeah, no shit.
You can thank Liam O'Brien for inspiring that idea.
Yeah. Thanks, Liam. Love you, Art Dad. So, Elrana, you walk up to the ever-turning pages as Arctis and Note are leaving.
Okay.
You walk into the store, and it is what you would expect from a bookstore. Just shelves and shelves and shelves of books, all of different sizes, colors, bindings, shapes.
I try and find the person in charge.
You see a woman sitting behind the counter that has red hair with a smattering of gray. Looks
What
middle.
race is she?
She's human. As you approach the counter, she looks up and she goes, "Oh, hello.
Yeah. Hi there. So I've come across this symbol and I've never seen it before, and I figured, hey, you're a bookstore, you might have book on symbols, or maybe seen the symbol. Have you ever seen this one before?" And I show her the picture of the symbol that is on the clockwork.
Okay. You show her the symbol, and she goes, I've never seen anything like that before. I think I have a book somewhere. Here, hold on a second. And she kind of shows you through the shelves and finds a book on what is basically like iconography, just of like different symbols for cults and religions, and like what they mean and the different different ways that they're used. And she kind of flips through a few of the pages, and she's like, "Well, I have a book, basically just on iconography, but there's nothing like that in there. I mean, if it would help you, but."
Is there anything close to it in this book?
Make a intelligence check.
Just general intelligence?
Yep.
18.
Damn, that's pretty good. You flip through and you see a couple of symbols that are kind of the same kind of like upside down triangular shape. And you kind of take note of those that kind of have that same just basic what is it, like parameters of like a triangular base shape.
Okay. How much is this book?
That'll be 2 silver.
Okay. I hand her 2 silver and
Have a nice day. Good luck.
Oh yeah. Have a nice day.
The druids and their social graces. So you make your way back to the Laughing Lamia?
Yeah.
To join up with everybody else? Alright. Everybody has reconvened at the Laughing Lamia. The crowd is thick.
Shit, what's your name? I want to call you Graham, but I don't think that's right.
Garm.
Garm. Did you go into the bookstore with me, or did you just keep going to the inn?
I just kind of kept going.
Okay.
Books are not my deal.
So you all reconvene at the Laughing Lamia. The crowd is still pretty thick. You're having to wade through people bumping into each other and clinking glasses and loud music. Everything smells of booze. Just everything. It's stained in the wood. It's on people's breath. It's everywhere. There are a couple of spots open at the bar if anybody wanted to go buy drinks. There is one open table, conveniently.
Do people stare at me?
You get a few looks from some people. You get a few eye wiggles from people and a few winks. But you... knowing you kind of like blow past them and just don't even give them a second glance.
More so of like any extra attention than is normal.
Make a perception check.
Ooh. 19?
Nothing more than normal. Mostly just a couple of guys and a few girls that are looking at you with we'll say bodily interest. But nothing like a person trying to give you special attention, if that makes sense.
Okay.
All right. You all are in the Laughing Lamia. What are you doing?
I go up to the bar and I order a drink.
All right. You see a human woman with auburn hair. Not alcohol?
Yeah, of something not alcohol.
The bartender kind of gives you a confused look of, okay, well, then, what would you like then? I mean, I got a few fruit juices, I guess.
Yeah, that'll work.
All right. Well, she pulls out a tankard and fills the tankard with a dark fruit juice and sets it in front of you. And then gets yelled at for 3 more ales and starts grabbing more tankards. Yeah, it's coming right up. It's pretty busy in here. Like, as soon as she takes an order, she's having to take somebody else's order, and she's throwing tankards and flagons everywhere she can.
Right on. I mean, I'm just kind of trying to chill out mostly, so. Yeah.
What time is it now?
By now, you're probably into the evening, like 7, 8 o'clock.
Okay. I'll go up to the bar.
Okay. You make your way up to the bar, and as soon as you make eye contact with the bartender, she goes, "Ah, Druid. Yeah, your friend was in here earlier and ordered you guys some rooms."
I just look down at myself and look back up. Is it because I'm blue?
Among other things.
Anyway, cool. You got us rooms. Do you have like food and stuff here?
Yeah, sure, what do you need?
Food.
Well, I mean, would you like some veggies or some fruit or some? We have.
Generally prefer like fish and fungus, but I'll eat whatever.
You say fungus, and she gives you a weird K kind of look. And she's like, "Well, we do have fish, so just give me one moment." And she kind of walks off to this side door and disappears for a minute, and comes back, and she's like, "That'll be ready for you in just a little bit."
Ask for a just a pale ale vibe,
Sure. She grabs a tankard from underneath of the bar and fills it up and hands it to you. She's got three different these big huge casks that sit behind the bar with little spigots that stick out of it.
Okay.
Anybody else doing anything?
I see. I'm gonna look around for someone who's pretty drunk who might make a good mark.
So it began.
Make a perception check.
I gotta keep my fingers in there, or my claws in this case. Rolled a 13. My perception 6, so 19.
Okay. You see a human gentleman sitting amongst a group of a couple of dwarves that are they look pretty deep in their cups. I mean, their cheeks are super flushed and
3 sheets to the wind.
three a little more than 3 sheets, but they are deep in conversation and laughing and seem to be having a good time. And you can see hanging off of off of his hip is a little coin purse that's just kind of dangling there.
I want to try for a 2 for, and I don't know how it's gonna work or how to roll for it. I guess I probably roll twice. I want to cause a distraction to them specifically. Maybe knock over one of their drinks. I can use my prestige, not I keep calling it that, my mage hand L, and then use it to steal the coin purse. Be within 30 feet of me.
Alrighty. Well, first I want you to make a stealth check to blend in with the crowd.
Rolled an 18, and my stealth is +7.
Damn. Okay. You stealth into another campaign. So go ahead and you say you're gonna try and go for to distract them by knocking over their drinks.
At least one of them.
Okay, so you conjure up your mage hand and start moving it through the small grouping of people to make it over to their table, and Go ahead and I want you to roll an attack roll using your proficiency and your intelligence modifier.
So still roll the 20.
Yep, still roll a 20.
I rolled a natural 1.
Oh goodness. Okay. So your mage hand works its way up to their table, and you try knocking, like every time it swipes to like knock over their cup, it moves out of the way as one of them like either picks up the tankard or and is like, clinking them together, or they drunkenly stumble into the table trying to tell a story and it slides against the table, and you can't seem to really get a handle on it.
Go for the pouch. Hope that they're drunk enough not to.
All right, go ahead and make since you're going for, well, make one sleight of hand check and we'll see if you make it to the next.
7, and my sleight of hand is 7, so it's 14.
14. Okay. Oh, fuck a duck. Okay. The human gentleman is so enthralled in his story about how he, I caught the largest fish in my town, and I moved here to try to catch even bigger. And as he's so enthralled in this story, you are able to just super easily take your mage hand and pull the little string that it's attached to and just kind of take it out of his grasp. You see the mage hand make its way back to you and drop the coin purse in your hand.
Alright, and what's my count?
Oh, you're looking through it?
Yeah, I'm guessing I'm far enough away I can look through it. He's not gonna notice. He didn't notice me getting it, so.
Okay. You open up the coin purse and you see 5 gold and 3 silver.
Thank you much.
Going for a twofer, or are you calling it?
That was a twofer. Was trying to do the spill and a take.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I thought you meant like you were gonna pick 2 pockets.
Any other good marks?
I mean, there was the dwarves that were sitting with him.
Past mage hand, so it doesn't poop out on me. Oh no, actually, it gets in
It should. Yeah, I was gonna say it should stay.
the special one. I'm gonna try for one of the dwarves.
Sure. Go ahead. Oh, that was bad.
I rolled another one.
Oh no.
I'm going to bed.
Well, that was an 18. And that was a 3. So your mage hand grabs a hold of his coin purse and is trying to tug the string, and as it tries to tug it off, he kind of notices the pull and is like, he looks down, and I believe the mage hand is basically invisible, right? It's translucent. Okay, so he just looks down and is like, "What the fuck?" and like grabs his coin purse and like pulls it away from whatever it is that's tugging at him and like tucks it into his belt, to where like now you still see the coin purse like sticking out of the bottom of the belt, but you don't see the string anymore. You don't see the top half of it.
Alright, I'm done.
Okay.
Small time crime.
You walk away with your newly acquired coin purse, satisfied with your endeavor. Anybody else doing anything?
Just waiting on the food.
Oh, yeah, you do receive your food. You receive uh, a fish that's about, I don't know, like this long. I'm not sure how much that is. Well, like 5 inches. I'm not sure. I don't have a fucking ruler. You're handed a fish that's freshly cooked and opened up. Yeah, well, this DM don't have a ruler. Um, but it's freshly cooked with a little side of like some small veggies just kind of off to the side.
Are they fungus?
No.
Bitches. I ate them anyway, but bitches.
Your love for mushroom and Swiss is showing, by the way.
May or may not have based entirely on the fact that I really
All right.
I eat a meal and then go upstairs.
All right. You head upstairs and you'll have to stop by Morzog's room to get a key, I believe.
Yeah.
All right. So Elrana stops by Morzog's room to grab a key. Who are you rooming with? Or are you rooming with anybody?
Well, I believe it was determined for whatever reason that Arctis needed his own room for whatever ill-gotten needed to do.
No, I don't need my own room. I would prefer to have my own room just because I'm that kind of loner.
I'll just take one of the other rooms. Someone comes in, okay, whatever.
Okay.
But I'll give them the option.
All right. So you grab a key and head into the room, and I mean, all of the rooms here are kind of, they're not extravagant. They're quaint. I mean, you have there's 2 beds per room, and each one has a little bedside table, and you have a little bit of room to walk. There's a bigger table kind of off in one of the farther ends. That's pretty much it. Couple of candles sitting around to light the room.
Okay.
Note, Arctis, Garm, what are you doing?
I'm gonna ask the barkeep if she has any first something to eat, and then after eating, I will also go to bed.
Okay. You order some food, and it takes a little bit to prepare, but she ends up getting it to you in a timely manner, and you head up to the room and or head up to the upstairs, and you have your choice of getting into Morzog's room or going into the room where Elrana resides.
I'll go bug Elrana this time.
Okay, Elrana. Into the door comes the small little Kenku.
I knock first.
Okay. Open.
Morzog, what have you been doing in that room?
I took a nap.
As it says unconscious and prone next to your character.
I took a nap. I mean, that's what I said I was gonna do.
That's fair.
Kind of waiting for everyone to kind of show up and make sure no one got into too much trouble.
how much trouble could we really get into?
A lot.
Plenty. All right. Garm, did you go upstairs or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you rooming with Morzog or?
Well, there's 2 beds in every room, so sure, why not?
All right. So Garm and Morzog in one room, Note and Ilrana in another, which leaves the last room for Arctis. You you walk into the room, finally away from the crowded streets and the large buildings, the tight crowd down below, which you guys can still hear the faint sound of the happenings downstairs as the party goes on. But it's not nearly as bad as you'd think. So you all are able to retire for a night without having to take a watch, unless you want to take a watch. But
Well, actually, I'm gonna get up and let the sun go down, then go stroll the streets for a little bit.
oh, alrighty then. So as the rest of the party retires, Morzog gets up and makes his way out of the
Takes my
room.
map and just kind of gets a lay for the town. And
Are you looking for
Kinda see
anything
what's-
in particular, or are you just taking a
no,
walk?
I'm just kind of trying to watch out for what's going on of an evening and kind of see what's still lit up and who's where, kind of thing.
Okay. So as you make your way out of the Laughing Lamia and through the crowd downstairs, the marketplace has settled down. The sun is starting to go down. You can see it kind of over the wall, or the walls. You can see the color of the sky turning to the oranges and purples of a sunset. You see people still in the square kind of like packing up their stalls and trying to move along to wherever it is they need to go. A couple of the shops have blown out the lanterns at the top of their doors and are starting to lock up. As you look at the map, you see that you can head... you can go back the way that you had originally came to make it back to the military district, or you can go more of a southern route and make it to the Erudite Quarter.
We'll walk the southern route. I've been the other way.
What was that? You take the southern route, passing by the one-story building that is covered in ribbons and tapestries, and see that a woman kind of pops out from the curtain that is basically the front door to grab the actual front door and go ahead and shut it and start locking up for the day. And that seems to be kind of just everywhere you pass by. It seems to just be everybody kind of locking up their shop, or you pass by people with large sacks full of goods as they're heading home, or just retired their stall. You make your way down through the archways that lead into the Erudite Quarter, and you can see large, well-crafted buildings, each with kind of this, as you can see through the windows. Some of the windows have a room full of desks in them, so you can only assume that it's a school. As you start to make your way toward a large white building that seems to take up almost a whole block. just to itself.
I'm just out for a stroll. Just not anything in particular. I mean,
Oh, sure.
just taking in the lay of it. I'm going to be here for a couple days, so may need to have the information kind of thing.
You traverse into the next quarter, passing through the next archway, into more of a place of residential feel. The sun is pretty much gone down at this point, and your dark vision is pretty much leading you through most of it, which you still see some lanterns off in the distance, but you're mostly being guided by your dark vision. And the go ahead and roll a perception check.
Oh boy. Get back to where I need to be here. Wow. That's a 4, but a natural 1, so.
Okay. You walk through the residential district, kind of seemingly to be unbothered. Everything seems pretty quiet. And then you make it to the crossroads that will take you either farther into the central district or to the port. You can see through the archways the large masts of boats that stick up past some of the smaller buildings in the port of Emon.
Okay.
And you are pretty much free to go where it is, wherever it is you please. You do see guards that pass by you, just kind of on patrol, but
Yeah.
I mean, they don't seem to bother you in any way, shape, or form.
I'll probably make it out to the water and then turn around and head back.
Okay. You walk through the port. The small buildings that you pass by are closed down. The people are heading home or are home and just close their doors to you. You hear some commotion coming from a few bars that are down the road, and as you make your way out to port, you stand on the edge of the cobblestone port. The smell of the salt from the sea takes you back to your first, or not your first, but your trip that led you from the continent of Wildmount and your home in Jorhas all the way to Taldorei. Finally feeling like you're taking that well-deserved vacation that you had figured you needed.
Turned into a hell of a vacation, let me tell you.
Thinking about that brings back thoughts of home and your family back home. Some of the people you served with, and
You do know I'm not from Jorhas, right? You've said that a couple times.
you
I don't know if you're getting me mixed up with someone else, but I came through Jorhas. But I'm an orc of Eberron.
well, there's no Eberron in this.
I mean, I'm a different continent kind of thing and travel. But continue.
Anyway,
I mean, for story purposes, aren't the orcs in Jorhas usually bigger?
well, there's no like one kind of orc. That's why, there are some that have the more ragey berserker like abilities from certain places, and then there are others are like uh, that are like Will's orc that have the just the like base like primal strength to be able to basically act larger than they really are. I mean, they're all different kinds.
But continue.
Anyway, so you make your way out to the water and then backtrack the same way you came back to Laughing Lamia.
Mm-hmm.
This takes you the better part of, with that whole walk, probably a couple hours.
Yeah.
So by the time you make it back, the crowd has kind of dispersed. You see quite a few people that have just kind of passed out where they stood.
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to make your way back up to your room and
Okay.
have a night's rest.
Works for me.
The next morning comes. All of you feel super refreshed. Nobody had to take watch. The doors were locked. You slept in beds, not bed rolls. You don't hear the commotion of the bar downstairs.
Yeah, I'm gonna get up and go down and have breakfast.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Sounds like a plan.
Well,
Eggs and waffles.
to what?
Wonder if they'll have fungus this time.
So
I mean, maybe if you're more specific about what kind of fungus you want.
Okay, so you all make your way downstairs. People have mostly cleared out. Now it's just like the odd, one or two people that are just often sitting in a corner trying to slowly drink away a hangover or having hair of the dog to try to cull the headache. And you see the same woman is at the bar. And as you guys pretty much have your pick of a table from literally anywhere, she walks up and is it's like, well, good morning. So what can I get y'all?
I'm an eggs and sausage kind of guy. Like, I want a dozen eggs over easy.
This is the part where we talk about food and get really hungry.
Well, see, while you all were doing that, I muted my mic and, ate, so I'm good. But
I was already there, so.
But yeah.
Elrana, you ask for fungus, and she says she doesn't have any mushrooms.
No mushrooms? No.
I'll take some eggs, I guess.
I ask if they have any bananas.
We have a couple. We have a few. She ends up taking all of your orders. Did you seriously ask for a dozen eggs over easy?
Yep.
Holy shit.
Hey, me and
He
Dad
has
used to
to
go
be
eat
the
them
size
at
of the
Sharon's
barge.
over in... Well, me and Dad used to go eat them at Sharon's all the time over in Sullivan.
Oh, God.
We would. We'd order a dozen eggs apiece and scramble them up and eat them. It was really good.
Well, you make your individual orders, and she brings back your respective orders. She brings a few bananas for Arctis and all of you get, whatever eggs or sausage or waffles or pancakes or whatever you had asked for.
Steak and eggs, baby.
Dude, steak and eggs sounds so good. And you enjoy a healthy, hearty breakfast. You all sit now at the table, full, and in the middle of the biggest city on the continent. What do you do?
Well, we need to have a plan here. Someone needs to come up with something. Because we've made it here, but we don't have anything that we started out with. We don't have... All we have is a general description of a dude that was here at some point in time.
First thing we probably ought to do is send a message back to Whitestone.
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
To let, what's his nuts?
But
I can't
good
remember
old,
his name.
good old what's his nuts. That's how I'm going to address the letter, by the way. Yo, what's your nuts?
Dear Taliesin, I'm so sorry for what my party said about you.
Allison would be totally okay with it.
I'd be totally okay with it. I mean, just don't let me write the letter. Yeah. Probably ought to let him know we were ambushed on the road, kind of thing. And go from there.
Okay.
But beyond that, I don't even know where to go from here, kind of thing. We had,
Well,
like I
that
said,
guide
our
person was talking about how there's like stuff here where I guess you guys could go to buildings and learn things instead of just learning the actual things. Nature, but whatever. And that there's kind of smart people apparently, and maybe they might know what this symbol is. Because I went to that bookstore he was talking about, and we couldn't find the symbol, and she didn't know what it was. I mean, I found stuff that was kind of like the basics similar, but not exactly. I mean, maybe if we could figure out what the symbol is, we could figure out who made them. Maybe it's like his mark.
Sounds like a starting point. I mean, and I would comb everywhere between any kind of knowledge base, library, college, whatever, to blacksmiths, armorers, because the things are weaponized. I mean, unless he did it all himself, he had to have help somewhere.
I wonder if it's something that I wonder if there's even like an engineering school here.
I mean, there's a whole school district. I mean,
yeah. We have rooms for 2 more nights. Beyond that, we can discuss what we're doing, but we have a little bit of time. I mean,
So, I'm a little new here. You guys lost all your leads in that little bushwhack.
well, what do you think happens when you get hit with a fucking fireball?
Bro, I don't know. All right, I showed up. I saw robots. I murdered the robots. My thought process doesn't go much further than that.
Yeah, our leads are pretty much shot. In the entirety, shot.
Buried.
We're going off of a symbol, and that's pretty much it.
We should ask around. We have a symbol, we have a description of the person, kinda. Definitely send that message. Maybe get a location, explain that what's its fuck is dead and how he died screaming.
We failed
like
our
a little
escort
bitch.
mission.
Yeah, we failed. We're terrible escorts. That's okay though. There's, worse jobs to have failed at. not worse jobs.
Like I said, we ask around, we see what we can figure out about anything hush hush kind of thing, and just see where, and we'll go from there. I guess there's no clear path here. It's kind of just what we can figure out.
Do we want to go to the Smith first to see if they know anything, or do we try to
Yeah. I mean, we might as well. We got to start somewhere. Might as well just go on about it and hope for the best.
Hey, Morzar, do you still have those arms?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, because those were in his pack and not in the cart.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we can try that one Smith he was telling us about yesterday.
Yeah. What Smith? I have a map, but what Smith?
Anvil Gate.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Here in this area, I guess. Pretty famous.
Well, if he showed you, lead the way. I'll follow. I mean,
Everyone done eating?
Oh yeah.
yeah,
No, I'm
good to
waiting
go.
on more waffles.
Well, it sounds like you just volunteered to write the letter.
Wise words they shall be.
I'm sure they will be.
And before we leave, I'd like to ask the barkeep if there's been any weird happenings going on, because you never know what we'll run into.
Okay.
Bad things happen.
Well, the barkeep comes back out with another stack of waffles. And another small bottle of syrup. And she just kind of looks at you and be like, "Okay, is that going to be all for you?" I don't know why I put on that accent. That's not how it's supposed to go.
You're doing great.
Shut up. So that gonna be all for you?
Yeah, that's gonna be it. I love waffles. Thank you.
What's your name?
My name is Valerie.
Do you have a favorite color?
Blue.
That's good to know.
Y'all are assholes.
I just looked down at myself. I approve.
Right? I approve. Well, so,
Sorry, that's something that carries over from another group, but I had to do it since they're not there.
Valerie human?
Yes, she is.
Alright. That'll work. Making notes with objects.
And you said you wanted to ask her something?
Yes, I want to ask her if there's been anything weird going on.
Okay. Well, nothing. Nothing more than the muggings that we get in the Central District every now and again, or petty thievery. I mean,
Not to interrupt, but have you seen any, maybe robotic-looking men or robotic-looking women?
she kind of like does that puppy head tilt. Robotic.
Metal men.
automatons.
She shakes her head. I have no idea what any of that is.
You've never seen men made of metal?
I've seen men in metal.
Kinky.
It would look kind of like that, but they have like gears.
I am a simple barkeep. I don't know anything about that. If you want to talk about weird, there's plenty of stuff that come out of the scar that's weird.
The scar? Like, what is that?
The scar, that damn dragon left it years back.
Oh, you're referring to the big crater that.
No, they fixed that. I'm talking about the burnt forest outside the wall. Which, as a side note, because I had forgotten to say something, as you guys had come in to the kind of southeastish, kind of like outside the city a ways, there is a what looks like was forest and is now just whereas most of like the plains and the grasslands is a very vibrant green color, that was the color gray. There was no leaves on the trees, nothing moving. If you want to talk about some weird stuff, there's stuff coming out of the scar every now and again that's just, I ain't never seen anything like it.
Anybody offering pay to take care of things coming out of the scar?
I mean, not that I know of. You'd probably have to go poke around the military district and see if they got anything there.
Military district, this way is that?
The way we came in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a district you started out in. I don't know why that is that way, but I'm not gonna question Mercer.
You should always ask questions.
But yeah, I hear stories about weird shit coming out of there all the time. They talk about ghosts, flaming bodies. I think they actually sent a group in there one time that brought back a baby.
A baby.
A baby what?
Yeah, a baby what?
A baby dragon.
Interesting.
But it was like weird looking. Like it was less scales and more like rock. Like its whole body was made of fire.
That would be cool. What happened to the baby? What
Well,
happened to the rock dragon thingy?
well, it's dead now.
Well, that's rude.
Do you know if they kept the body or anything anywhere?
No, not to my knowledge. I just hear stories.
I'm kind of interested. I kind of want to go and scope this out.
Well, we've got stuff to do.
Like, what? We don't even know where this dude is. We have this interesting place we can go look at. We might find some hints or something. Or hell, even run into the dude.
We could split the party.
Far be it from me to suggest thinking matters, but
Yeah, half the party goes into the scar and the other half go investigate. That's gonna be great for my fucking brain.
I like this idea.
Well, half the party dies in the scar, and the other half do what they're supposed to do, and then carry on with 3 new players.
Yep, y'all are gonna get some new players.
It's okay. Things happen. As long as the story keeps going. not gonna go investigate the scar yet.
Not day one in the city, no. But you know, we hit a dead end, we get bored. Yeah, you never know.
But yeah.
All right, so where are you going? Arctis is face deep in waffle.
Sounds like Arctis was writing the letter, if I remember right.
Is Arctis?
After I
wait.
finish these waffles, sure.
So, Arctis and down again. I'm sorry, Aurelia. They joined us later. So,
Yes.
and I know we updated them on every.
Ilrana?
Elrond, I'm so sorry.
It's
I'm gonna
cool.
write everybody's name down on the card because I've forgotten. Who, like, who to speak to, or he would know who to.
Do I?
I would say you guys probably would have filled him in. I mean, unless that's something you wanted to withhold from him.
On which part?
Who they originally spoke to.
Oh shit, what's his name? Wayfair told us. Told me anyway.
Okay.
The story of what happened and what you guys were doing, and showed us the middlemen and then everything that happened.
So then Wayfair would have told you.
That's
Yeah,
what I said.
Wayfarer told both of us.
And then we're filling in.
Garm.
I wanted to call him.
Garm's just gonna kind of walk around with us. Is just kind of like, what are we doing?
Because we were inspecting.
We're doing
the
this.
trucks, and he was showing us them, and we were talking about the middleman and all that crap.
Yeah. I guess we just start kind of wandering around the city and back alleys and places of interest, trying to hunt down anyone who is looking for anything that can closely resemble to what we've been, to why we came here.
All right. So
We're going to the blacksmith first.
Might as well start somewhere. Works for me.
all right. As you guys gather up, Arctis finishing off his stack of waffles so that he can write a letter to Percy. You make your way out of the laughing.
Allison Jaffe.
You make your way out of the Laughing Lamia onto the main square of the Abadar's Promenade, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut the episode right there because now I've got to get some stuff prepared for basically that and beyond. Now that I know exactly what's going on, so
Does any of us really know what's going on?
Nope.
So
We just kind of like dogs chasing cars. We're never gonna catch it, but if we did, we don't know what we're gonna do when we get there.
we did it. You're just holding it in your hand,
I know
like
what you're gonna do if you catch it.
Porn
You don't
stores
know
in the
me.
near future.
grapple.
All over.
All right.
Mountain Taldorei.
All right.
If you catch the car that blew up your horse, I think it's gonna get thrown.
Oh yeah, no.
I would
if
like
I
to
ever- if
mention,
I-
by the way, that I don't smell like normal druids. I smell like fucking rain, so I smell great.
I didn't say that you did smell anything.
Yeah, uh-huh.
No.
Let's talk to you.
Okay.
Well, I live out in the woods and I'm rather unkempt. I probably smell something like
I
dog.
honestly figured that we had been on the road for so fucking long that we probably all smelled a little off.
I always smell like rain. Fresh rain.
I'll make a note. My apologies.
All right. We will pick this up next week. Hopefully. So this has been Deck Save the Taldorei Adventures, and we will see you all later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.